All right, hi Kelly. I'm Melody, and I'm a student social worker here at Tarleton State. And we're just gonna do a little interview, and I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. And I just want to let you know that everything we say will stay here between us. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. So just to get started, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and things like that?
Yeah, I grew up here in Stephenville, and I was born in Arlington, but my family moved here when I was really little, so this is pretty much the only community that I know. And lived here up and through high school, and then I went away to college, moved some other places, and moved back here. So.
Okay. So where did you go to college at?
The first time I went to college, I went to Stephen F. Austin in Nacogdoches, and I picked it because the town was a lot like Stephenville. Nacogdoches is very similar to Stephenville in size, and yeah, I just felt comfortable on that campus, and I studied psychology there.
Okay. And so did you get involved like in the churches down there, or were you involved in church when you lived here in Stephenville at all?
Yes, yeah, that's always been a big part of my life. My mom especially was always real active in church growing up, and she always had us there and involved in different activities, and so it was just kind of assumed that I would find a church when I went away to school, and so I did. But my mom actually, I was very, very, very shy. And so my mom went with me to an organization fair like before school started because I wouldn't have ever gone and met anyone. And she signed me up for some stuff, and she signed me up to go to some stuff at the BSM. And she had been involved and that's Baptist Student Ministries.
Okay.
And so she had been involved in the Baptist Student Ministries, and she wanted me to just make friends. And so one of my best friends ended up writing, I guess they took that list from the organization fair, and they just wrote postcards to the welcoming, the new freshmen. And this girl I ended up being really good friends with, she's the one that got my name and wrote me the postcard, and we ended up being roommates. Yeah. And so I was very active in that in college. That was my main social group, and I did a lot with the BSMs, every summer I did a mission trip for almost the entire summer. And so one summer the first summer I went to Las Vegas, Nevada, and we worked with Hispanic churches there because northern Las Vegas is kind of like Mexico.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. We would go in restaurants and it would be all in Spanish.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it was kind of more the poorer part too. I don't know that it was the poorest part, but we stayed in some pretty ghetto neighborhoods.
Okay.
But anyway, so I did that one summer, and then the next summer I was supposed to go to China, and I always just had this big thing for China when I don't know, always just was drawn to it, I guess. Okay. But that summer the SARS virus broke out, and they were afraid that we'd be quarantined and that we wouldn't be allowed to come back to the United States. So instead of going to China, they sent our team to Vancouver, Canada, because there's actually a suburb of Asian people there, and so we taught ESL in Vancouver, Canada, to this Asian population that lived. It's a suburb called Richmond. I think that's right, Richmond, British Columbia. So and it was really beautiful.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to go back just to visit Vancouver again. And then the last summer, I finally did get to go to China, and we stayed at a college campus and studied Chinese, which was insane.
I bet. Was it hard?
Yeah. Only have a couple of words memorized from it, and we spent all day in class. We made friends with people that lived, other college students that lived on the campus, and it was an interesting experience for sure.
Okay.
So
yeah, when I went on my mission trip, we didn't do language learning as much, but even now, I just went last summer and I don't really remember any of it.
Yeah,
it's so hard if you don't keep up with it. You don't remember any of it. It's really hard.
Yes. Well, and Chinese is a complicated language, just all the tones and everything like that.
Yes, definitely. So you talked about being shy. Was that a problem ever when you first went to college, or did you kind of get a group of friends and it didn't really become a problem?
Yeah, that's the way I had been my whole life. I know people now that I went to high school with, and they'll laugh because they said, we didn't hear you talk the whole time you were in high school. So that's just the way I was, and it didn't bother me. I didn't really think about it. But, and I mean, I think college, that transition is a little bit stressful for everybody. But, I mean, so, I mean, there definitely was some stress, but I don't know that it was related to me being shy as much as it was related to just
being in college.
Yeah,
my first year, the first semester, I would call my mom and be like bawling because I wanted to go home. Like I was a homebody, so when I went off to college, and I wasn't like a shy person, but I just wanted to be at home because that's what I like. So yeah, I think it is just hard for anyone, no matter if you're shy or not.
Yeah. Well, and I was lucky. I mean, getting plugged into the BSM. I mean, I'm not saying other people wouldn't have been nice to me too, but I mean, it's a Christian organization.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they were very kind to me, and I met a lot of people who were just nice to me, and even though I was really naive, no one took advantage of me, you know. So yeah, it was a good way to get connected. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So you were a psychology major. Did you do anything with that once you graduated, or what did you do once you graduated?
Well, I just started studying psychology because it was interesting, and that probably wasn't the best, like, long-term plan. I had started off pre-med, but I thought I didn't want to be a doctor because I didn't see how I could be a doctor and still have the kind of family life that I wanted to have. And so, basically, then I was just like, well, I just want to study something interesting. And so I had liked psychology. Anyway, especially with my involvement in the BSM and stuff, which I don't see the video on there anymore.
Yeah, I did that last time. I'll make sure. I think it's still going.
I just don't want your interview to be
that would be
ruined. Okay.
Yeah,
it's like it's still on. Okay.
I did that last time, though. It's okay.
I knew you couldn't see it. But I was really involved in the Baptist Student Ministries, like I said. And so I guess just being involved in that way made me want to do full-time mission work. And so I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to go or what I wanted to do, but I thought I wanted to do missions. And so that was kind of, I guess, my ambition when I first graduated college. And my parents and I mean, they had been very unsure about me traveling anyways, just because, I mean, at that point, I don't know if anyone in our family really had gone overseas just to travel, and they were worried about me being a girl, and I graduated college a little bit early. I was 21, and so they were just worried about me doing something like that. And anyway, so just kind of, I guess, in the meantime, because I did like the Baptist Student Ministry so much, I took kind of a missionary position with them. It was called Campus Missionary. And basically it was kind of like an intern. Like, I still worked for them, but it was more like a stipend kind of pay. It wasn't like a regular salary. And and I did that for a semester, and that was not my favorite thing ever. I liked the students, but I was also younger than a lot of the students, which was kind of hard. Awkward. Yeah, even though they were all really nice. But I just think maturity-wise, and just too, that being my first like job after college, it was just kind of a difficult transition. And so I kind of thought, well, I really am supposed to do missions overseas, not here. But I think it was probably more just that after school, after graduating transition. But anyway. So when I ended up not liking that job very much, you know, I had another conversation with my parents, and, you know, my dad just said if I would go to school, study some more about missions, and if I still wanted to do it, then they would support me. And so it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to go to seminary, but I did really want my parents' support, and so I thought, well, that will be worth it, you know, to go study. And so I ended up I looked at a lot of universities. I mean, I was raised Baptist, and so there's two main Baptist seminaries in Texas, at least that I'm aware of. There's probably more. But one is very conservative, and one is considered very liberal. And pretty much whichever one you graduate from, you're kind of labeled as conservative or liberal. And so I didn't really want to be labeled as that. It wasn't that I still saw myself as Baptist, but I chose to go to a non-denominational school, Dallas Theological. And I had a really great experience there. I lived in Dallas for one semester, and I hated Dallas, so I ended up moving home, and I commuted to Dallas
Okay.
to finish my degree. And kind of like my dad, I mean, he had a lot of foresight, I guess, because as I got to the end of that degree, I guess maybe I had a year or a semester left, and being in that non-denominational environment, there were just a lot of different organizations that you could go with.
Mm-hmm.
And each organization, whoever you signed up with, they wanted you to commit to, like, a lot of them had very detailed doctrinal statements that you had to commit, like, that's what I'm going to teach to the Native people or whatever. And none of those just, like, resonated with me. I don't know. I didn't think they were necessarily wrong, but I didn't feel good about just signing my name and saying, I 100%, this is what I'm going to teach.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't so much that I didn't want to do mission work. I just didn't have a piece about how that could come about. And again, there were some Baptist organizations, but it was kind of like the Baptist war of, like, super conservative, super liberal. I didn't feel like I fit in either one. And so teaching had always kind of been at the back of my mind, even when I first changed my major in college at Stephen F. Austin. And so I just thought, okay, I need a job. I knew from working in the Baptist Student Ministries I didn't want to work in a church. Like, that wasn't what I wanted to do with my seminary degree. So I just thought, I'm going to just have a job where I can work stateside or work overseas, but I need some degree where I can have a profession because psychology and biblical studies weren't, like, getting me into just the regular working world.
Because psychology, don't you pretty much have to get your master's to really do anything with it?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
There might be some entry-level things, but I mean, if you're going to, you have to, and I mean, I knew when I signed up for it that I didn't want to do counseling or anything like that, but
you were young, right?
It was interesting.
That's all that mattered at that point.
So I actually, to get my teaching certificate, I ended up moving back to the town where I had worked as a intern for the Baptist Student Ministries. And there's a college there, Midwestern State. And so that was kind of a good thing because I already had a little bit of a community there from when I had lived there the first time. And so I just kind of was able to pick up where I left off. And at Midwestern, they had a post-bac teacher certification program. And so I went there for a year and got my teaching certification while I finished my seminary degree online.
Oh, wow.
So, it was, I don't know what I was thinking. I do not have that much energy. But anyway, so I was all excited about that and, was wrapping up both those degrees and decided to move back home. And so, and then spent, the next several years looking for teaching jobs and stuff here. I worked a lot of jobs while I was trying to land a full-time position. I mean, in Stephenville, pretty much people die or retire or they move. That's just the only way a position opens up. So it was really hard to get in. So anyway, I ended up working as a substitute and a tutor, and I worked as a music aide 1 year and taught music to kindergarten kids. I mean, I just did all sorts of stuff, getting my foot in the door. But I liked it all. And so then I did finally get my much coveted teaching position. I got a special ed position teaching 3rd and 4th grade life skills, and I did that for 2 years. And then I ended up teaching just regular 4th grade reading and social studies for another year after that.
So did you enjoy that, or?
Yeah, I really did. And it was weird. I mean, I'm not teaching right now. Just kind of my transition out of that, several things kind of happened. With the life skills, I actually hadn't ever really intended to leave life skills. But in Stephenville, the special ed classes are very small. Like you might have, 1 or 2 life skills kids in a whole grade. And basically, the year that I ended up switching over, they weren't going to promote any students to my grade. And so I didn't get fired, but they gave me a choice of like I could either leave campuses and work at a different campus and still be a life skills teacher, or I could stay at my campus and have a different position.
Okay.
And I made it clear to my principal, like I loved our campus. Hook Elementary is a great school. And so I just wanted to stay in that environment because I felt like I had a lot of support.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I ended up teaching the 4th grade, and I loved it. It was a great year. I decided, I mean, I guess at that point I was like, oh, how old was I? I don't know. I was getting older. And I just, I don't know. I was very consumed by my work, which I'm a perfectionist, and so I kind of gravitate towards just giving 300%, you know?
Which is good.
Yeah. I don't think it was a bad thing, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a miserable thing, but just kind of a reality of like I was spending, 60 to 80 hour weeks at the school. I was, on the weekends, I'd be so tired, and even when I would take time off, I was always thinking and planning about things, and I just realized like that was kind of the whole focus of my world, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but I wanted a job where I could be done at the end of the day,
exactly.
and where I could still have more of a social life, and so was kind of the transition into nursing. Also, I ended up getting sick while I was teaching. That's when I developed celiac disease. That kind of started, I guess, like my first year. So I'd been dealing with that for a few years and ended up making some pretty radical dietary changes, which again, like, not that big of a deal, but I just thought, it would be nice if I had more time during the week to actually cook and prepare meals for myself, because I can't eat most food. Like, I couldn't eat anything in the school cafeteria. So it was like, I mean, I had to bring food from home 100% of the time. And I don't know. So I was just trying to figure out, like, what's a better way I can take care of myself and maybe still do something where I'm helping people, but also have more of like a personal life, because at that point, like, my whole life was like in my classroom.
Teaching.
So that was kind of the transition out of that. I ended up doing some career testing just because I thought, if I'm going to go to school again, I want to make sure that it's something that I have at least a little bit of a natural aptitude for. And so I did it's called AIMS testing, but it's like a 2-day, I don't know, they have you do all sorts of stuff. And nursing was like the top, I guess, thing that they kind of said you would be good at this, but they gave me several other options. And at that point, nursing wasn't really even an option for me. I was afraid that, I wasn't afraid, but I mean, just like dealing with the human body and stuff, that was like radically different than anything I had ever done before, and I just didn't think it was for me, really. And but sonography was also on there, and so I was like, well, I don't think I want to do like nursing because that's a little bit more invasive, but maybe I would want to do something like sonography. And so I kind of, I knew that I was going to go back to school for something. And so in preparation for that, I went ahead and resigned my teaching position. I went back to school, to massage school, because I wanted something where I could support myself yet still be a full-time student, because most sonography programs are like
crazy hours.
Yeah. So I wanted something where I could make a good wage and all that, and so I went to massage school and really, really loved it. And yeah, one of my massage school friends is actually the one that kind of introduced me to like the paleo diet. And so I ended up trying that, and I ended up feeling a lot better on that diet. And just massage itself, like even when you're the one giving the massage, it's very relaxing. I don't think I could be stressed out and give a good massage. So it kind of forces me to just like relax, and most of the time by the end of the massage, like I feel pretty relaxed. And so, which
is good.
Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
It is. And my teachers, I mean, they were very encouraging and supportive, and just said, that they thought I was a good, massage therapist or whatever. And so that was encouraging. And so anyway, so I ended up starting my own business, again, with the idea that I would go back to school, but I guess I was still figuring out what
exactly. What
exactly.
to do. Okay.
And the more time I spent in massage, the more I was like open to nursing and doing things that maybe I wouldn't have been comfortable doing before. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the final decision maker was on that, but I mean, I think, you know, the nursing program was here at Tarleton, which was a big selling point for me because I want to stay in this community. And also, as much as I love massage, I think there was kind of a reality too of like, I am not a business-minded person. So even if I'm the best therapist in the world, as far as like making money out of that, I knew it wasn't going to be like a full-time thing for me. I would have to go back and study business, and that's not so. So too, with all the areas in massage, a lot of it kind of correlates with healthcare. I don't know as a nurse if I would ever really get to use things from massage because you kind of have to be careful, you know, what disciplines you bring in. And, it all has to be approved by doctors and whatnot. But, I mean, a lot of it does go together, you know, nursing care and just basic massage therapy. I don't know. And so, and in fact, for massage to keep our licensure, we have to do some continuing training. And I found this woman who trains people to do like pediatric and infant massage.
Okay.
And she does a lot of her work with sick kids in hospitals. And so, and she is she's an employed massage therapist, not anything else. But she has had a lot of nurses get trained by her, and they end up, you know, also working as massage therapists. And there's a lot of, I guess, health benefits just from the massage, you know, kids that are having to be hospitalized. And so that's definitely inspiring to me. I mean, I don't know how things are going to pan out in the long run, but it just made me realize, like, oh, these two things go together, you know, and maybe, you know, if I prove myself as a good employee as a nurse, maybe hospitals here will be more open to hiring a massage therapist.
So has the massage therapy, has it made like your studies in nursing easier since you do already know about the body, or how has that affected it?
Yeah. I mean, I think just even just the general anatomy and knowing, like, I mean, a lot of the time you use the bones and muscles as landmarks when you're giving injections and different things like that. And so just having that basic anatomy and feeling pretty comfortable with it has helped me a lot.
Okay. That's good. So where did you go to massage school at?
I went to, it's called Texas Healing Arts Institute, and they abbreviate it TIE. So yeah.
Where was it at? Did you do it online, or do you have to go somewhere to do that?
Oh yeah, it was in person. I moved to Austin for a summer.
Okay.
And there's basically in Texas, it's a 500-hour licensure. Different programs make those hours different ways. So, I mean, I had just resigned teaching, and I wanted to like have another job like ASAP. So I picked a program that was very condensed. So we were in class from, I think it was pretty much 9 to 5 every day. And yeah, for 3 months. So, and as part of that 500 hours, you did a 50-hour internship. So you weren't paid, but like people would come and get massages from the public. And that's part of how you finish your certification. So yeah, but I moved to Austin for 3 months.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the disease you have and like what foods you have to eat? For that.
It's celiac disease, and basically it's an autoimmune reaction to gluten. And so it's kind of different. Like when people ask me, I just say it's a food allergy because it is. It's related to the food that you eat. But it's not just your body reacting to the food. Basically what happens is when you have celiac disease, if you eat wheat, barley, or rye, those 3 grains have gluten in them. And you have to remember, too, wheat has a lot of hybrids. So, like spelt, there's a lot of wheat hybrids. I don't even know all their names. But anything that's wheat, wheat, barley, or rye, I can't eat because all of those grains have a protein called gluten in them. And so whenever whenever that gluten enters my intestine, basically what happens is my own body attacks my intestine.
Okay.
And so it's weird because it's related to the presence of food, but it really is nothing that the food is actually doing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so then it attacks your intestine, and basically, you know, your intestine has these villi in it that absorb nutrients, but when your body attacks them, those villi are flattened. And so basically it prevents absorption of any nutrients.
Okay.
And and before I'd had it, I mean, I'd had, you know, a few digestive illnesses on and off, but I just got very sick. And it was weird because I had a really good friend in high school, and she was diagnosed with the disease a few years before I was, when it was less common, and she almost died from it. Because it was just not well known about. And unfortunately, like most processed foods have gluten. There's a lot more awareness and a lot more labeling now, but again, you know, I don't know when she was diagnosed, like 7 years ago or whatever. I mean, I don't think we had those same stringent labeling things. Things were not labeled gluten-free. People didn't really know what it was. So anyway, but I'm lucky. I mean, you know, my dad's a doctor, and so when I just told him, hey, something really is not right, I really just feel really bad. And so he did like a real simple blood test, which is not considered the gold standard for diagnosing celiac. Really, you're supposed to have your intestine biopsied as well.
Okay.
But he said, you know, the blood test is like 99% accurate. So 1% chance it's wrong, but pretty much it's if it says you have it, you have it. And so based off of that positive blood test, I started eating a gluten-free diet. And at first it was really miserable because I already felt bad. And then, I mean, I've been told this, I don't know how true it is. My experience is that, like, when you have something that's in your diet for a long time and then you get rid of it, it's almost like your body goes through withdrawals from it. So just like if you're without caffeine for a while or without sugar for a while. So I already felt bad, and then getting rid of all that gluten, I felt really bad. But it was amazing. Like, I guess about a month after I had started the gluten-free diet, I just woke up one day and I had so much energy, and I had like all these unfinished projects and different things at my house. And it was like I spent one day getting done all these things that I had spent several months trying to get done. And it was just like, wow, I feel better. And I didn't even realize that I felt that bad, you know? And so, gluten is my mortal enemy. And I did gluten-free for a long time. And that just, I mean, I don't know. I don't like that I have that allergy, but it's made me a lot more aware of what's in my food. I started eating healthier. I started paying attention to what was in, well, I kind of, because I had to, but what was in my shampoo and what was in my body products and other things that I was using. And it just made me a lot more aware. And so, which I think is a good thing.
Yes.
And so, so I don't, I guess, always resent it as much as I used to. I still hate that I can't eat like at social functions. But I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So, at least
Just
I have
have
an
to deal with
excuse.
it, right?
Yeah.
So, my sister, she has a gluten allergy too. She gets like headaches if she eats gluten. Is that what you were starting to feel, or like what? How did you get sick? Was it you're sick to your stomach, or sick to your stomach?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got really sick to my stomach, and of course, like I was teaching that year too, so maybe that made me notice it more. But it was like I would have to like run out of class to use the bathroom.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was just getting like unbearable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I was just like, okay, I'm not, 89.
Right? They shouldn't be happy.
Yeah, it's not normal for someone in their 20s. So, no, I had like severe, and I mean, too, my skin was all broken out, which I thought might have been from stress of teaching and stuff, but most of it was nutritional.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good that you became aware of that, and now, because you feel much better now, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so back on nursing, what are your future plans? Like, where, as of now, would you like to work in nursing?
I'm not really sure. I mean, prior to teaching, I had kind of a lot of different experiences that were kind of related to teaching. So I knew I've always loved kids, and I still enjoy working with them. So if I had to pick right now, I would say something in pediatrics, maybe even like a PICU or something where I'm just taking care of a few kids at once. I mean, I don't know. I know I don't want to do something like ER right away, just because I don't want to do like super fast pace.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm pretty open. I just want to see, I don't know, what I'm good at and what I enjoy when I'm on my clinical rotations.
When do you start clinicals?
We started this semester, so we're on med-surg right now, which is probably what I'm leaning towards the least.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
The geriatric population isn't really, I guess, my just favorite. But, I mean, I've also seen, too, where it's just like, well, I mean, if you're a nurse, you just provide good care to whoever. And it's just like, it doesn't matter how old they are. You know, if somebody needs to, you need to clean their stitches, you need to clean their stitches. You know? So, I mean, who knows? Maybe by the time I'm done, I'll love med-surg, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Okay.
So, but I just kind of want to experience some different things and see maybe if I have a knack more for one or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, leaning towards pediatric, but I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. If that's pretty much all I have.
All
Are you
right.
good?
Yes, I'm
Alrighty.
good.
Thank you.